If you want to understand the COVID-19 outbreak's impact, you need to read Pope Francis's encyclical Laudato Si, which was written way back in 2015, 5 years ago. I would like to read the outcome of human activity, what we have done to planet Earth. Laudato Si, paragraph number 2, Pope Francis writes as follows: "This sister, that is Earth, now cries out to us because of the harm we have inflicted on her by our irresponsible use and abuse of the goods with which God has endowed her. We have come to see ourselves as her lords and masters, entitled to plunder her at will. The violence present in our hearts, wounded by sin, is also reflected in the symptoms of sickness evident in the soil, in the water, in the air, and in all forms of life. This is why the earth herself, burdened and laid waste, is among the most abandoned and maltreated of our poor. She groans in travail." He quotes Romans chapter 8, verse 22. We have forgotten that we ourselves are dust of the earth, which was written in Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Our very bodies are made up of our elements. We breathe the air and we receive life and refreshment from our waters. I think it's a brilliant quote from Pope Francis, where he writes that human activity has destroyed the lithosphere, the hydrosphere, the atmosphere, and the biosphere. In other words, soil, water, air, all forms of life. We have done it. Look at me. I'm sitting here like a lord and master and giving this talk. Under my foot, there is soil. Before building this house, this soil was producing color, smell, food, beauty, spirituality. And this soil was inviting all the creatures, the birds, the amphibians, the reptiles, the mammals, everybody, take it and eat it. This is my body. So much food was there in the soil. It produced food for other creatures. This soil looked up the sun towards the east. East is here in my house. The soil was exposed to the sun every day. The sun was touching her, caressing her, loving her, telling this soil, I love you. What happened? I destroyed and I covered up with some kind of stones, and I put some roof, and I call it a house. The soil which was inviting other creatures, take it and eat it, this is my body, is buried forever. As if the soil has committed a crime. I put him in the jail. Maybe for 100 or 200 years, this soil is condemned to jail. Imagine the houses all over the world, the roads, the factories, the cathedrals, the temples, the mosques. All those achievements, Taj Mahal, all those 7 wonders of the world, the soil is imprisoned. When are we going to liberate it? That is what Pope Francis is talking about, liberation, which was quoted by St. Paul in chapter 8 of Romans. The whole creation is crying out in the groaning in pain. Pain. Oh Lord, what did we do? The whole creation groaning in pain. So, who is going to liberate this soil? Who is going to take out all the roads and liberate the soil? Who is going to destroy all the parking lots and liberate the soil? The soil is crying out loud, liberate me, Lord, 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 I want to see the sun. I want to produce the color, I want to produce the smell, I want to produce food and invite other creatures. Take it and eat it. This is my body. This is cosmic liturgy. Every land is sacred. Every soil is sacred. They have been inviting creatures millions of years. Come and eat. I have prepared a banquet for you. Come on. This place was a magical place once upon a time. Psalm 104 puts it so beautifully. Psalm 104 is called the Psalm of Creation. In verse 14 to 15, what was happening here, right under my foot, where I am sitting, right here? What was happening before I destroyed it and I put it this stupid building? I call it a house. What was going on was much better than what is going on right now. Psalm 104, verses 14 to 15. He makes grass grow for the cattle, right here. Right here, under my foot, it was happening. God makes grass grow for the cattle. And the plants for people to cultivate, bringing forth food from the earth. Wine that gladdens human hearts. Oil to make their faces shine. Take it and eat it. This is my body. Every ground is a cathedral. Every forest is a green cathedral. Anyhow, I want to go to the gospel where we get that all these natural elements like soil, water, air, and life, especially we call it Panjabhutas in India, lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere, they are totally free. Nobody can control them. Nobody can empower them because they are free. That is how God created them. You know the Gospel of St. John, chapter 3, verses 1 to 12, where the Pharisee named Nicodemus was a member of the Jewish ruling council, came in the night to talk to Jesus. And in the course of conversation, Jesus is telling him that all the elements are free. They are free. Nobody can control them. The soil, nobody has the authority to empower and enslave and put him under the feet and freeze him for the rest of her life. No. Jesus giving one example, the wind. In verse 8 of John's Gospel, chapter 3, he puts it so beautifully. The wind blows wherever it pleases. That tells you can't control them. Soil, water, air, you can't control them. They are free, absolutely free. There is no passport, there is no visa. Nobody can ask. They can travel wherever they want to. Do we have that luxury? We human beings. Look at the elements of the earth. Do we have that luxury? Do we have that privilege? No. No. The wind blows wherever it pleases. You hear it sound, but you cannot tell where it is going and where it is coming from. So it is with everyone born of the Spirit. In other words, all these elements are born of the Spirit of God. Even today, they are imbued with the Spirit of God. Only one species, Homo sapiens, we lost the Spirit of God. That's why we need passport. That's why we need visa. If we have the Spirit of God, we don't need them. We are totally free. I want to really read some of the brilliant verses from Psalm 104 again, that is verse 3 to 4, where the psalmist writing the freedom of the elements of the earth, the Panjabhutas, how they can travel everywhere. And humans can never put them under their feet or put them on the head and freeze them. No, you can't do that. You have to liberate them. Psalm 104, verse 3 to 4. He makes the clouds his chariot and rides on the wings of the wind. He makes winds his messengers, flames of the fire his servants. Oh my God. They are very powerful. They can go wherever. Indian air can travel to America. America air can travel to Afghanistan. Indian air can travel to Pakistan without any control in the LOC, the line of control. And Pakistan water can come to India. There is no line of control. They are all totally free. Only humans. Where is the passport? Where is the visa? But the COVID-19 has taught us a beautiful lesson. Every suffering has a purpose. Suffering is not a waste, it is an investment. Suffering is a resource. Gold is not that powerful, silver and natural resources like iron ore. No. Suffering is the best resource of all. Because it is going to take the whole of creation to the future glory, ecstasy, fullness. Came to give life, life in full, only through suffering. So that's what we are undergoing, COVID-19. It is giving a chance. COVID-19 is a chance. It is not something to destroy us. It's a chance to flourish, to become more complex, to become more elevated. So that's what St. Paul in the letter to Romans, chapter 8, verse 18 to 25 is writing. I want to read it. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. Yea. For the creation was subjected to frustration, not by its own choice, but by the will of the one who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself will be liberated from its bondage to decay and brought into freedom and glory of the children of God. The soil under my feet will be liberated. The COVID-19 outbreak is an awakening, just started to awaken. Destroy this house, liberate the soil. Destroy the roads, liberate the soil. Destroy factories, destroy parking lot, destroy cathedrals, destroy everything. Liberate the soil. Yeah. That is the freedom the whole creation is waiting for. The Bible doesn't lie. It's the truth. We know that the whole creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. Not only so, but we ourselves, we are the first fruits of the Spirit. Groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for our adoption to sonship, this redemption of our bodies. For in this hope we were saved. But hope that is seen is no hope at all. Who hopes for what they already have? But if we hope for what we do not yet have, we wait for it patiently. Yea, even we are waiting for the liberation. We have to liberate ourselves that colonial mentality, colonizing everything, colonizing soil and water, people, colonizing countries. There are no countries, only one earth. Only one earth. Who gave you license to divide into countries? No. That is pathetic. That is control. That is dominion. We need to be liberated from that. The whole countries are groaning in pain now. Lord, why countries? We want to be one earth. We don't want fragmentation. We want unity. One earth. If you want to go to probably to Mars or Jupiter, you need passport and visa. Even I don't agree with that. This is our solar system. You can go to all the way to Saturn or Neptune or Pluto. Only if you want to go to Andromeda Galaxy or Alpha Centauri, the next solar system or constellation or galaxy, then you may need a visa. Even there I'm going to disagree. I don't have time to argue. But anyway, I want to conclude from the Psalm 104, where we read that everything comes from a loving Father and He has the control. Only He can have the dominion. Only He has the copyright. Psalm 104, verse 27 to 30. I want to read it. All creatures look to you to give them their food at the proper time. When you give it to them, they gather it up. When you open your hand, wow, that is beautiful. They are satisfied with good things. I want to read it again. When you give it to them, they gather it up. When you open your hands, they are satisfied with good things, with every good things. When you hide your face, they are terrified. They are terrified. When you take away their breath, they die and return to the dust. When you send your Spirit, they are created and you renew the face of the ground. It is ultimately God is going to liberate this soil on which I am sitting like a Lord and a master. He is going to one day kick me out and then liberate the soil. I think the soil, the water, the air, all life on earth, they have the right to live in freedom and liberty. So that is what COVID-19 is teaching. That is the awakening. I hope we take this time of suffering as a mystery. There is something we are learning. Only mystery can teach us. If you think it is a physical ailment, you miss the point. But it is a mystery where we have a deep insight. It is sent by God Himself. So I think the future world will be more complex, more beautiful, and more benign. Thank you.